We're seeing this in Haiti. Real charities that actually really do give most of the money to the people are being demonized by the big establishment charities. This is all part of the racket. And he was going to give a few other examples. We ran into that break. A European Union member of Parliament from England, Godfrey Bloom, is our guest, and I'm shifting gears into your phone calls and a ton of other news and what just happened in Massachusetts last night with the election of Mr. Brown. Finishing up your point, Mr. Bloom.
Yes, indeed. Just very quickly, and sorry to be parochial for the Brits, this one really. Every charity, there are very few major charities that haven't been infiltrated. It's very difficult to get the information, but if you press and press, you can find out who funds them and where it comes from if you ask for it. But you have to be persistent. So we know that charities have been infiltrated. We also, it's an interesting one just to finish up on, which is something that you won't know and the Brits won't know. Baroness Ashton, who is the new foreign minister for the European Union, was a member of the Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament, which of course we know was partially funded by the Soviet Union in the 70s and the 80s. Not only did some of the money go missing, that nobody can actually find, when she was treasurer, she's now calling the shots on matters of foreign policy. And this is something I bet nobody knows, that it is now European Union policy to acknowledge the domain of China over Tibet. We have given up now on Tibet. Tibet has been recognized as being a Chinese province, and that was virtually under the crosswords in our press. Nobody in England actually knows about that. It came out on a no news day underneath the crosswords. The City of London is going to be regulated now, the top regulator of the City of London, which is, the equivalent of Wall Street. You know, we've got enough clout in London. It's the only thing we do which is as big as you have over there in the United States. Is a Frenchman, a very charming, very urbane Frenchman, Monsieur Barnier, but he doesn't believe in the concept of dealing in commodity trading. He doesn't believe in selling forward or selling short. He doesn't believe in hedge funds. He's another dyed-in-the-wool socialist, so we can look forward to most of those industries which have been in the City of London moving across to places like Zurich. And they're still asleep in the City of London. They still don't know this is happening to them. You couldn't invent it, Alex.
Unbelievable. Well, we've got to have you back just on Common Purpose, because I get calls and emails constantly about it. And they're just have totally taken over society because government knows it has to control the local community. And that's what Obama is a big community organizer with the Chicago model. And what's happened to you under Common Purpose and a few other groups is now happening here. I mean, it's been happening, but now it's getting really bad. We just had the Austin Police Department go in and intimidate and shut down the oldest gun show in Central Texas with no law, no nothing. They just intimidated it to close and intimidated the landlord to shut it down. And they're in the newspaper bragging how they did it, saying, they're protecting the citizenry. I mean, it's just a lawless government that just does whatever it wants. Sir, I really appreciate you spending so much time with us and continue your great work there in the Parliament fighting these people.
Thank you so much, and a great pleasure to be invited on again. Thank you so much.
Take care, ladies. Take care. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Godfrey Bloom, European Union member of Parliament from England. Okay. Here's the deal. I want to take first-time callers at least in this hour. First-time callers at least in this hour. Because I want to give people who always email me and say they can never get through on the phone lines a chance to be on air. But later in the next hour, we'll open it up for everybody. I specifically want you to call in about whatever you'd like, but I would like to hear some discussion of the swine flu hoax being fully exposed now. We were right about that. I want to hear your comments on Scott Brown, who voted for universal health care, by the way, when he was in the Massachusetts legislature as a senator. This is a good message to send Obama, and this may kill government-run health care that the insurance companies wrote as a form of robbery for themselves. But if this is the type of Republicans we're going to see in this realignment, we're going to be back in the same situation we were with George Bush. So I would certainly like to get your take on that. The toll-free number to join us is 1-800-259-9231, 1-800 ladies and gentlemen, 1-800-259-9231 and we will get you up and on the air. But in the stunning upset, Brown tops Coakley for Senate seat, as you already know. And last night I was listening to the radio, hearing this happen. I got really excited, but then I realized that's at a primitive level. Right now, I'm psychologically seeing Obama as the enemy, because even if I intellectually know he's just a puppet reading off a teleprompter, a front man of the establishment, still at a primitive level, the media advertises that he's the guy behind this, whether they say it's positive or negative. And so, because they are using him as a front man, as a figurehead, again, it's positive in a lot of ways, but it's also negative because people then start thinking they're fighting with Obama instead of the powerful Wall Street interests that put him into control. And you know, that's the only issue, because I listened to Bill O'Reilly, I listened to Glenn Beck, I listened to these guys, and the Fox News line politically is, we need to raise a bunch of taxes to pay off the national debt. That's the conservative thing to do. Instead of cutting government and arresting the bankers, indicting them, investigating them. I tuned in today and this morning and heard Beck in his last hour, and I couldn't believe I heard it, say if Obama does the right thing and goes to the center to save himself politically, he's got to watch out, because he's brought all these czars into the White House that are 9/11 truthers, and the Secret Service better protect him from them. They better protect this man. So, the message was, it wasn't even veiled, 9/11 Truth wants to kill the president? There was only one czar who signed a 9/11 petition in 2002 when he was a community organizer, Van Jones, for a 9/11 investigation. Another investigation. So because he was the only one out of all the bad things he wanted, restrictions on free speech, communism, all of it, who actually had some humanity. And so Cass Sunstein, one of the most powerful czars in the White House, he says arrest you if you question the official story of 9/11, if you question man-made global warming. I mean, whether you agree that 9/11 is suspicious or not, you should definitely support the free speech right. The truth is, Obama pushes the 9/11 fable. He pushes the pretext for war. He pushes WMDs in Iran, just like Iraq. It's all the same. The lobbyists, the banker bailouts, the Patriot Act, the torture, the secret arrest. It's all the same. And the truth is, the operatives in the White House, like Cass Sunstein and all the rest of them that talk about how they love collectivism and communism, that's just their communist walking papers. That's just their community organizer cover, because they come into the communities and say socialism, collectivism, communism is going to help the poor. So the poor get behind big government, not so they get some of the money. Even if you believe in communism, I don't, because crooks always steal the money, and it's immoral. But they're not really communist. Notice, big banks, the big powerful governments, always put communist and socialist in. Why? Because they're for collectivism, which is what the big banks want. Again, I know you as the audience know this, but we've got to get this message out to people. Really, we should write a news article. Kurt Nimmo, Paul Watson, Aaron Dykes, Steve Watson, somebody, or some other news website. Somebody ought to really go through and compare Glenn Beck to Barack Obama. And the only thing they really disagree on is global warming being man-made and government-run health care. And Glenn Beck is 100% right on those issues, and it's great, and I would love... Look, folks, I'm not attacking Glenn Beck because he's got a bigger radio show than mine and a big TV show, okay? I'm not here trying to win a popularity contest. I don't like to infight. I don't like to sit here and call people out in the media and make a big spectacle and issue out of it. That's all everybody else does. Beck is so key to this, though, where he's been placed, the things he has done, his history, that it goes against my instincts. I hate to have to go after Glenn Beck, but I know I must. You think I liked going up against Obama when he was super popular? When he could do no wrong? When he was the second coming of Christ? When he had an 80+% approval rating? No, but I had to do the moral thing. I knew he was a con artist and a fraud and a liar. I knew who backed him. I knew what his scams were, and I called him on it with precision. And I'm telling you, folks, I get a bad feeling many times worse than I get listening and watching Obama. There is something diabolical. There is something just truly demonic about Glenn Beck. And again, you can go pull the clips up, saying Ron Paul's a kook, saying we need to arrest 9/11 truthers, saying we're terrorists. I heard him say it again today. I never used to tune in